Welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, I guess we'll start off with a few announcements. Summer has arrived. A week ago, it was in the 50s and raining like crazy. Today, well, yesterday it was 98, and today it's about 95. It's only about 88 in the garage right here. Anyway, so, hey, summer's here. Woohoo! Well, parts arrived for the shifter. So I'm shifting gears back the other way, and I can complete the shifter. Let's get to the raw ingredients for the shifter. At the center of the structure is going to be this. This is a double-ended heim joint. Here's another part I got. It was possible to order replacement spheres for a smaller 5/16 heim joint. And it just so happens that this ball size here is only 4 thousandths smaller than the ball on the end of the factory shifter. So this just becomes the shifter, you see. If I just put my finger up against it here, I can just shift it, move to another quadrant, shift it, move to another quadrant, and so this becomes the core center of the shifter. So only problems I'll have is I cannot allow the shifter to do this, to turn like this. So I got to make some little sleeves that will go on the end here and space the tower ears apart enough that I have enough angle for the shift. So first thing is knock the hole in the cover and then find out how much angle that is for the ball. Once I get that figured out, then I know how much the tower edges will be sloped and how big the flat part will be coming up, and then that dictates how big the nubs are that stop it from turning left and right. So everything is hinges on that one measurement of how much angular movement does the shifter require.
Well, back at the drill press using the cross vise. This time I'm just going to use the drills and just drill the center section of the hole out and then use the mill just to dress the edge. I am actually eyeballing a lot of this because there's no hard numbers here. I'm just sort of looking at it saying, well, I think it needs to be about just so big. If it's a little extra big, it won't matter. If it's a little too small, it'll limit the shift. But yeah, I'm just using my eyeballs a lot. And yes, I live with my mistakes after that.
So here you can see I've made the cutout, and that's where the shifter sits right down in there. See, it's about centered in there. So let's get out the screwdriver. And we shift into, this would be third gear. See, got plenty of room. Fourth gear, plenty of room. And when we put it into neutral, how far does it go there? And how far does it go there? Okay, like so. Well, I've been out here working along, and it's 92. Sheesh, that's all I gotta say. Now I'm sweaty with aluminum bits all over me. Okay, next step. Gotta work on a lathe, get some spacers made.
Okay, at the lathe now. I'm sparing you the noise. See this, you can see that the video is kind of stable. I got the video camera actually sitting on the bench, But when I go to do the cutoff, this lathe does not run slow enough or have enough torque, and it starts howling. And it's so funny because the video just turns blurry because there's so much vibration and stuff. I mean, look at it. It's just like, and hey, that's what happens when you use a hobby lathe. So these little spacers only had to be a couple hundred thousandths. All right, now I am making the left-handed thread stud that screws into the bottom of the shifter, the heim joint, that has the ball on the end. And so here you can see I'm setting up the gears so I can cut the threads. I was having a little bit of difficulty getting the threads to cut right, even though I've got the angles and all this right, and the threads are not cutting the way they should. And as I recall, that it requires that there's an angle cut to the thread cutter, which this thing doesn't have. So my threads were a little questionable, but in the end, the what should we call it, stud, whatever, is going to be welded to the heim joint. So, okay, here we are. Now you can see that the stud was screwed in there. I have to shorten that end of the heim joint and put a taper on it so it doesn't bind against the top of the shifter in the transmission. All to make clearances so that it shifts smoothly. And I wanted to allow myself being able to adjust from 1.6 to 2.0 inches of center distance between pivot and ball center.
Here's what I've got done so far. Got my ball on the end here, 1.8 inches between the center here and the center there. So that is the low side of that. And it looks like, in my first preliminary check of angles, it looks like I'll be able to move from the neutral position, which is standard straight up and down. I'll be able to move it to the rear maybe 150 thousandths, maybe 200 thousandths, don't know yet. But it will throw that far. It will throw first and third that far. So I don't know exactly yet. I'm going to have to mock up the brackets for the sides and get that figured out. But so yeah, I still have to weld it right here so that this ball can't come off. But that's pretty much it. I think it'll be plenty strong. Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, it was a hot weekend. And so we decided we'd take the family up to the mountains and get out of the heat. So that's what we did. But I am back now. I have a day of side projects. So that's 4 days without working on Betsy. But I'm back to it. Been working on the next step of getting up my plans. So I'll have you look over my shoulder and take a look at what I came up with. I was just, it's just a drawing program. So, but I decided I'd make it full size. So it is real life size. All the holes and everything line right up with what I'm working on. Pretty cool. Put this right here like this. Those spacers fit on the insides of the bracket. The ball is just below the lower level, the bottom of the plate, as it should be. So yeah, if you line up the hole like so, then the ball is right below the plate, and then it shifts like clunk and clunk, just like that. So here's the original shifter. It's on there just like so. But the real comparison is, look at the size of the shifter. If you look at it on end right here, Look at the size difference. Let me line up the bottom of the plate. There's the size difference between the two shifters. All of that bulk is being, it's only going to be this wide. What I had to do then is convert this drawing here into a flat plate that I can bend. And that's what this drawing is. So that's the layout of the sheet that I have to do. It gets a 66-degree bend up this way on this piece. And then this piece has a 24-degree bend back, so I end up with 90 degrees. So I got to whip two of these out here. So it's time to start cutting steel.
All right, here we go with all the steel cutting and fabricating. Now the trick here was that because of the angles, I have to mark it just right. I don't know what the bend deductions for the steel is. I don't know. I could have looked it up, I suppose. But it causes variables, and so I was sort of designing it in a way that I could make adjustments and then trim off the outer end pieces, so that in the end they would be identical.
It's a little cluttered here in the shot, but this is the mock-up with the shifter. I just got the brackets clamped to the plate. I got my mechanism in there. There's a little more play in this ball joint than I want. So I'm going to have to do something about rattling, because I definitely don't want it to sit there and do that. I could probably put some rubber hose on both sides to dampen the movement of it. Okay, so what we have is over and up. First gear. Second gear. Third gear, fourth gear, and then I gotta get over and up for fifth. Now, what I can do is do my next test, which is, if I have the chance to move the shifter towards the rear of the car a little bit, I am going to take it. Okay, so here's the test for that. There is neutral, and you'll notice it has a slight, maybe 5-degree back angle. So, there's first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Oh boy, just absolutely no trouble at all. But yeah, I can trim some of this front off. Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, today is the day that I should finish the shifter. I just went to the hardware store. Got some just small nuts and bolts and stuff I needed to finish it off. Got a new caliper because I smashed this one the other day and now it doesn't work. So today I'll be cutting some steel and closing off the ends of the shifter so that it's sealed from the weather and the gunk, and oil stays in and gunk stays out. So that's it. Let's get at it. Okay, here's my next demo. I got the anti-rotation slugs put in there, so now it can't spin. So there's just shifting. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Yep, there it is. Okay, welded the bungs on, welded the ball on the end of the shifter, and of course everything warped and the shifter was hanging up, so I've been remachining and working, and I had to stake the brass inside the heim joint, and then I had to loosen up the ball again and machine that. But now that I've done all of that, it's perfect again. So that's it. It's working good. I'm still, I was playing catch up today instead of moving ahead. So, I'm behind a whole day now. So, working on this little filler piece right here. So, just putting this little piece here fits right in the end of the shifter like this. And it'll just be welded into place, and it seals off this whole back portion. Okay, so welded these end pieces in. Well, they're tacked in anyway, so now I just got to weld them up.
Boy, did I screw up here. This piece of 1/4-inch steel that I'm cutting the shift tab out, I thought that I'd gotten all of the galvanizing off of it, but as it turns out, my sander had loaded up with galvanized, the zinc, and so it looked like I had cleaned the metal off, but there was still galvanizing on there. When I went to weld it, oh my gosh, a big blast of smoke, and I was having a hard time getting it to stick. But it was already stuck there. Oh man, it was difficult to get it welded strong enough that I could trust that my shift handle wouldn't fall off. That's all I need. Okay, so there I'm just tapping holes in the shift tab, and by golly, I've got the upper part of the shift mechanism done.
Got the shifter all welded up, and I'm just got the little tab here for the shifter, and I just kind of have it mocked up. I haven't done anything with the actual shifter yet, but what the hey. Okay, so here it goes. Here is how short this here shift is. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Goes through the gears just lightning fast. Okay, so I thought I'd just show you a few things here. This is the internal mechanism. There's a lot of time. I looked at this a lot of different ways. I was thinking, I could have made these anti-spin slugs smaller and then made Delrin caps for them. So, it wouldn't be metal on metal. It would be the plastic running inside the shift tower. There's a lot of stuff I could have done. But as it stands, this is the prototype. This morning I'm just going to assemble it. And what I really need to do is get it on the transmission and get it up in the car and see just how this shifter is going to fit. So let's just go ahead and grease it up. This one goes on the driver's side like so. Then the nylock. Okay, let's make sure we clean out any gunk that might have got its little fanny in there. So what I need is a little something here. There is the occasional something or other, whatever, that dropped in there. Let's do a comparison here. Original and new. Okay, see, little RTV, and then we'll stick her down, so we don't want stuff leaking. There it is. Smaller than the original by far. This is where my shifter ended up. Really see the difference. Wow, look at this shifter. Absolutely perfect. It comes right up through the center. That's front to rear. Right up through the center. Left to right. Absolutely perfect. Oh man. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I actually thought it would be more over into the passenger side front, but it came out perfect. Oh gosh. I can't believe it. So as you can see, The shifter comes right up through the original hole. It'll fit the console perfectly. And there you have it. I couldn't be happier with the result. Thanks for watching.